Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another famous unboxing. As all of you guys know, I am on a Chris Reeve kick and have been for roughly about 3 to 4 months now. Chris Reeve, I have gotten the Chris Reeve bug, and so today we're going to go ahead and unbox another Chris Reeve classic, the small Inkosi with natural micarta inlay with a drop point blade. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. And once again, as we always do, we do the unboxing. Nothing that you haven't seen before. Here's the folder. It's all deja vu to all you guys out there. It is to me, but it's always fun to do again. This is the registration card for the knife. Okay, you can do this process online. And Chris Reeve address, he's right there in Boise, Idaho. Comes with a sticker, right? And information card with the name of the knife, the Inkosi, which is Zulu for the chief, and of course some information on the on how to lube your knife, and the most important item in the box, which is the birth card of the knife. And my knife was born the day after Christmas, 2017. Makes it kind of special right there. So let's go ahead and put all this stuff away. Put the folder aside. Continuing on with the unboxing, we quickly have the tools, which I'm going to get to once again in a minute. The Loctite, and of course you have his famous degreaser. A lot of people either hate it or love it. I actually don't mind it myself. And of course the knife itself. Now this is not how the knife actually gets folded. This is actually the way that I do it. I might even do a video on how I did that. It's, fairly simple, but I think it's just a lot better than the way that they actually have it wrapped up. So here comes also with the microfiber cloth, very soft. You get one of these every time you purchase a Chris Reeve knife. And that just makes it stand out from all the other knives. Some of them even include a pouch. So here we have it, the small Inkosi Chris Reeve knife with natural micarta inlay. Absolutely beautiful. Let's give a quick look all the way around, and we'll get right into the knife itself. Let's start off with the size comparisons, starting with the most obvious. This was actually a shock to me. I just automatically assumed that the small Inkosi would actually be the same size as the Sebenza 21, and as it turns out, it is not. It's actually smaller. With this knife coming in at around 2.78 inches, just almost 3-inch blade, and this knife coming in at about 2.5 inches. It's a very, very small EDC carry. Again, I had no idea it was that much smaller than the Sebenza 21. So if we look at the design of the knife, overall the handles look completely different. This one has more of a rough sandy textured titanium with the micarta inlays. And micarta inlay is basically just pressed paper, pressed resin, and some other materials. When compressed together, you get that beautiful natural look. It almost looks like wood, but it's actually not wood. So right off the bat, there are a lot of differences between these two knives. Starting with the most obvious when you handle it is the smoothness. While the Sebenza 21 is a smooth knife, because of the washer system inside the knife, we have a large washer on the front side of the knife, and on the back side of the knife, the washer is smaller to accommodate the lock bar. So that's probably why the Sebenza 21 is not as smooth as the Inkosi, whereas, and you can't even really see the washers. You can probably barely see the front side or the right side of the knife right here, you can see a little bit of the washer sticking out there, but on the back side of the knife, you can't see the washer at all, no matter how close I put it up against the camera. So the washer system on the Inkosi, quite different. I don't even have to hold it up to the camera. Check that out. You guys can see the washers plain as day. They are overextended, almost overextended past the titanium frame itself, but they are definitely in clear view of your eyesight, and they are huge. And the advantage is that this makes an incredibly smooth feel to the knife. So smooth you can actually middle finger flick this little guy in the left hand, making it almost an ambidextrous knife. Centering on this knife is absolutely perfect. Beautiful as always. Quite a few, definitely quite a few differences in the knives. Here's another difference right here. Look at the pivot bushings. This one is huge, and this one is very small. Also, the jimping on the knife are quite different. This one is more normal, Chris Reeve jimping. This one's a little bit much more aggressive. If you're not careful, you know, you might actually seriously injure your skin, which brings another thought. You can actually front flip this knife. I'm not going to do it, but you can front flip it. Oh, there you go. You can actually front flip it. There you go. That's how large this little nub here sticks out, that it allows you to be able to front flip it. That, in combination with the aggressive jimping, makes it an easy front flipper, or not really an easy front flipper, I should say, a capable front flipping knife. I missed it there, but in any case, you can't do it too often because you will rip the skin off your thumb. Believe me, I know that. So another difference is in the blades and how they look, not only in the shape but also in the finish. If we take a look at the shape of the blades, they are quite different. I'm going to see if I can hold them up to the camera. This one here, actually I think it might be better if I use both hands. I don't want to injure myself. So this one here is a lot thinner on the side there, and has more of a concave, deep hollow grind on the blade, as you can see, making it an excellent slicer. And this one also has a satin finish on the blade, so it's nice and shiny, versus the stonewash blade that you get on the small Inkosi. Now, on the small Inkosi, while this is a very capable slicer, it's actually more of a work knife, and you can see that in the blade shape. It is not as narrow. I think that's the correct word. Looking at it this way, it's not as narrow as the Sebenza 21, making it more of a workhorse of a knife. That's not to say that you cannot slice with this. It's just that both knives were built to accentuate a particular activity. So with the Sebenza 21, that one is, while it is a capable working knife and hard use knife, it basically is accentuated. I believe that's the correct word. It's accentuated more as a slicer versus the Inkosi, which is accentuated more as a workhorse of a knife. And you can clearly see that by the grind on the blade is not as curved or hollow as the Sebenza 21. Now, we turn the back of the knife. We can clearly see that there's also more differences here. The pocket clips, as we can tell, I think maybe I can bring this up a little bit closer. The pocket clips on these knives are quite different. They're the same style clip on the knife. However, where they are positioned is completely different. On the Sebenza 21, it sits right on the lock bar, and on the Inkosi, it is angled a little bit to act as more of a travel stop for the knife. I kind of laugh at that because for both knives, simply because while a integral Chris Reeve frame lock does have a tendency over time to maybe lose its tightness. That is a possibility. The reason I laugh at that is look how thick the titanium scales are on this knife. I have never seen titanium scales quite as thick as on the Sebenza or the Inkosi. In fact, on the Inkosi, they're quite a bit thicker than on the 21. You would actually think that they would have to angle the pocket clip on the 21 and not so much on the Inkosi. But nevertheless, it's there, it works. It's a Chris Reeve design. We don't question it. We just enjoy it. And both knives also have lanyards, but once again, the difference on the knives. With the lanyards is where they are positioned. If you notice on the Inkosi, the backspacer, or if you want to call this a backspacer, it actually doubles as a backspacer. Where they put the lanyard on is also the backspacer as well. And on the Sebenza 21, they have a dedicated pin slot where the lanyard actually goes, which I don't think is actually correct, because the knife itself might actually rub up against that lanyard, almost cutting it a little bit. So I'm surprised he didn't think of that. I probably would have had the this screw, which is the backspacer, down over here, and maybe shift this up there, but whatever. Again, it's Chris Reeve design. Nobody questions it. So let's go ahead and continue on with the size comparisons, because I didn't do that. I went right into the comparisons of the knife itself. So let's go ahead and put it up against the big Inkosi. Okay. And the regular Sebenza 21. So as you can see, it's a really tiny knife. It is exactly half the size of the Sebenza 21. If you put that on top of there, you can tell that the knife is just a really small knife. It's basically almost a mini Sebenza. So let's go ahead and put this guy up against some other knives. How about the Spyderco Swiss Bowie? One of my all-time favorites. I actually consider this guy the medium Sebenza 21, I guess, if you want to call it. Excuse me, because there is no medium Sebenza 21. This is, you know, just pretty much a substitute for it, but it's a great knife. Spyderco Swiss Bowie. How about the ZT 0393? One of my favorites and brand new for this year. Love that blue color. That's a 3-point-inch knife up against the small Inkosi. And finally, something that's exactly the same size, but maybe a little bit different as far as wideness. How about the ZT 0900? These two knives, lengthwise, are exactly the same size. So there you have it. So the knife is very small, but it is perfect EDC carry. You could probably use this perfectly around the office, maybe cutting up envelopes, some small cardboard boxes. That's what the knife is mostly used for. But if you needed to use this to cut some pretty heavy stuff, you could do that. It is meant for that. Chris Reeve had meant even the small knife, as compared to the large Inkosi, to do that as well. So there you have it. The quick unboxing and comparison between this and the Sebenza 21. The small Chris Reeve Micarta Inkosi. And once again, this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy. Please, if you like what you see, please click like and subscribe, and please leave some comments. Let me know if you own this knife, or you're considering possibly getting this knife, or maybe even considering getting a Sebenza in the future. I keep saying this over and over in my videos. If you don't own a Sebenza, I wouldn't worry about it. You're going to get one. It is just a matter of time. wherever you are in your knife collecting, you know, you may be bored, you may be getting a little bit stale, you may be looking to maybe trade some of your older knives up. To do that, maybe sell off 3 or 4 of your knives to get one of these guys, it is absolutely worth it. People are always asking me, this guy must be rich, he must be loaded. Why is it possible for him to afford, you know, 5 Sebenza knives, or 5 Chris Reeve knives, and to be honest with you, I can't afford it. It's not possible for me to afford it. There's this other invention called credit cards, and yeah, I've been doing that. But I am not in debt. I bought all these knives over time using a credit card, and I paid every one of them off one by one. Well, not this one. This one is still on a credit card. I paid them all off one by one. I've been very responsible with my credit cards, and so I thought I'd treat myself to a Sebenza, my first one that I got, and I wound up getting 5 of them. It's a very addictive thing. I'm probably going to wind up getting all of the Chris Reeve knives in the end, minus the Impinda. I'm not quite sure I'll wind up getting that one, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and get the rest of the Chris Reeve knives. I just absolutely love his knives. I do believe they are worth it. I do not believe that they are overpriced in any way. The warranty alone is worth the money for one of these. Keep in mind, Benchmade and Spyderco and ZT and all those other knife companies, they may have very good warranties, but they do not match up to the Chris Reeve warranty. Keep in mind that in 10 years, when this gets all beat up and all used, I can simply ship this off to the Chris Reeve factory, and for a small fee of, say, right around $20 for shipping, he will get this knife to look exactly as you see it right now, nice and shiny and pretty. No other warranty will offer you that. The only thing that Chris Reeve will not do on the knife is that he will not recolor or re-anodize your thumb stud. For that, that is a $35 charge for both knives, for whichever knife you're bringing in to have redone. And he doesn't actually even re-anodize them. He gives you brand new thumb lugs. So something to consider when you're thinking about getting a Chris Reeve knife. Keep in mind, his warranty service is absolutely second to none, and his knives are second to none. These are all knives meant to last you an entire lifetime, and Chris Reeve has been around for over 30 years. I believe he has accomplished what he has wanted to. So once again, this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, and again apologizing for letting this video run really long, but here you go. The small Inkosi Micarta inlay, natural Micarta inlay by Chris Reeve Knives, and I do hope to hear from you. This is Omar once again signing off. If you like what you see, please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And once again, this is Omar, hoping you'll find your next piece of sharp art. Thank you very much.